Hey gamers, get ready to plug in, power up, and take a trip down memory lane as we count down the top 25 arcade games of all time. These are the games that defined a generation, revolutionized the world of gaming, and still hold a special place in our hearts. But this isn't just some random list, no sir. We're diving deep into the pixelated trenches to uncover what made these games tick. We're talking groundbreaking mechanics, mind-blowing graphics for their time, and the addictive gameplay loops that kept us pumping quarter after quarter into those arcade cabinets. So grab your joystick, hit that start button, and let's jump into the classics. Kicking off our list at number 25 is Galaga. This 1981 space shooter took everything we loved about Galaxian, its predecessor, and cranked it up to 11. Seriously, the challenge in this game was out of this world. But it wasn't just about blasting alien bugs. Oh no, Galaga introduced a devious new twist. The tractor beam. Suddenly those pesky alien bugs weren't just trying to kill you, they were trying to abduct your ship. And you know what's worse than getting blown up by an alien? Getting brainwashed and turned against your own people? That's what those aliens were doing, I swear. But here's the thing. Galaga gave you a chance to fight back, to rescue your captured ship in a daring double-ship firepower frenzy. It was risky, it was intense, and it was oh so satisfying when you pulled it off. And that's what made Galaga more than just another space shooter. It was a game of strategy, of timing, of knowing when to play it safe and when to risk it all for the ultimate power-up. Hopping into our number 24 spot, it's Frogger. Now this 1981 classic wasn't about spaceships or lasers, but it was every bit as intense. Picture this. You're a tiny frog with a death wish, trying to cross a busy highway and a raging river. Cars whiz by at deadly speeds, trucks threaten to turn you into roadkill, and then there are the logs. Oh, those logs. They seemed like lifesavers, but were often just death traps in disguise. One wrong hop and you're swimming with the fishes, or worse, becoming alligator chow. But that's what made Frogger so brilliant. It was a game of pure, unadulterated reaction time. Every level was a meticulously crafted obstacle course that tested your reflexes and your patience. One mistake, and it was back to the start. And let's not forget the iconic 8-bit soundtrack. Those repetitive tunes wormed their way into your brain, fueling your determination even as your frog met its umpteenth demise. Landing on our list at number 23, it's the one and only QBert. This game was out there, man. I mean, you play as a little orange blob with a long nose, hopping around a pyramid, changing colors. It sounds simple, right? Wrong. QBert was trippy, challenging, and surprisingly addictive. First off, those isometric graphics were revolutionary for their time. QBert gave us this whole new perspective on arcade gaming, literally. But it was the gameplay that really hooked you. You had to strategically hop on each cube, changing its color while avoiding a whole cast of wacky enemies. There was Coily the Snake, Slick and Sam the purple blobs, and Ugg and Wrongway, those mischievous purple creatures that always messed up your carefully laid plans. And let's not forget QBert's iconic speech bubble. You knew you messed up big time when that string of symbols popped up. It was the original censored swear word, and somehow it made the game even funnier. Chapter 4, number 22, Defender. They came from outer space to abduct us all. Buckle up, gamers, because at number 22, we've got Defender. This 1981 classic threw you headfirst into a desperate battle for survival against a relentless alien invasion. Seriously, this game was fast. You controlled a lone spaceship, tasked with protecting the last remnants of humanity from waves of attacking aliens. These weren't your typical slow-moving space invaders either. Oh no, these guys were fast, they were aggressive, and they had a taste for human astronauts. See, your job wasn't just to blast aliens, it was to protect those tiny astronauts stranded on the planet's surface. If the aliens got too close, they'd swoop down and snatch them up. Talk about pressure. Defender was a non-stop adrenaline rush, a test of your reflexes and strategic thinking. You had to manage multiple threats at once, prioritize targets, and master the art of the perfectly timed smart bomb. Chapter 5, number 21. Street Fighter II, Hadouken, your way into gaming history. Get ready for a roundhouse kick of nostalgia, because at number 21, it's Street Fighter II. This wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon. Released in 1991, Street Fighter II took the fighting genre to a whole new level. Suddenly, arcades were packed with players eager to test their skills against each other, to unleash their inner warriors. And what a roster of warriors it was. Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Blanca, Zangief. Each character brought their own unique fighting style and special moves to the table. It wasn't just about button mashing either. Street Fighter II was a game of skill, timing, and strategy. You had to learn the intricacies of each character, master their combos, and anticipate your opponent's moves. And let's not forget the rivalries. Every Street Fighter II player had their main, their go-to character, their champion. And nothing was more satisfying than taking down your friend, or a complete stranger, with a perfectly executed Hadouken or a lightning-fast Dragon Punch. Chapter 6. Number 20. Pong, bleep, bloop, boop, you just got served. We're traveling back in time for number 20. All the way back to 1972, to the game that started it all, Pong. Now, I know what you're thinking, Pong, that's just two paddles and a dot. Where's the action? Where's the excitement? And you know what? You're right. Pong was simple, almost minimalist in its design, but that was its genius. See, in a world before fancy graphics and complex gameplay, Pong offered something pure, something primal, the thrill of competition. 2 players, 2 paddles, 1 ball, it was the ultimate test of reflexes and strategy. You had to predict your opponent's moves, outmaneuver their paddle, and find that sweet spot to send the ball whizzing past their defenses. And the best part? You didn't need a complicated joystick or a million buttons. Pong was all about finesse, about subtle movements of the dial. It was a game that anyone could pick up and play, but mastering it? That took time, dedication, and nerves of steel. Chapter 7, Number 19. Pac-Man, Waka Waka Waka, the little yellow guy that conquered the world. Coming in at number 19 is none other than the legendary Pac-Man. This little yellow dude with his insatiable appetite and iconic theme music became a global phenomenon. Released in 1980, Pac-Man took the world by storm, captivating players of all ages with its simple yet addictive gameplay. The concept was brilliant in its simplicity. Navigate a maze, gobble up all the dots, and avoid those pesky ghosts. But there was more to it than met the eye. Pac-Man was a game of strategy, of planning your routes, of knowing when to run and when to make a stand. And those power pellets? Oh man, those were game changers. Suddenly you were the hunter, not the hunted, turning the tables on those ghosts and sending them fleeing in terror. But what truly made Pac-Man special was its charm. That iconic yellow circle, the adorable sound effects, the way Pac-Man's mouth opened and closed as he chomped his way through the maze. It was impossible not to fall in love with the little guy. Chapter 8, Number 18. Miss Pac-Man Who Runs the Maze. Miss Pac-Man does. Hold on to your joysticks because at number 18 we have a true gaming icon, Miss Pac-Man. This wasn't just a sequel, it was a revolution. Released just 2 years after the original Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man took everything we loved about the original and cranked it up to 11. First off, Miss Pac-Man brought style to the maze. Forget the bow, Miss Pac-Man rocked a stylish cherry on top. And those mazes? They were bigger, they were badder, and they were packed with new challenges. We're talking faster gameplay, smarter ghosts, and those bonus fruits that zipped around the maze, tempting you with extra points. But what really set Miss Pac-Man apart was her personality. She was sassy, she was independent, and she wasn't afraid to go after what she wanted. She was a true gaming icon, proving that girls could rock the arcade just as hard as the boys. Chapter 9, Number 17. Asteroids blasting space rocks never gets old. Prepare for hyperspace because at number 17, it's Asteroids. This 1979 classic proved that you didn't need fancy graphics or complicated storylines to create a truly addictive arcade experience. It was all about pure, unadulterated gameplay. You were in control of a lone spaceship, a tiny triangle lost in a sea of deadly asteroids. Your mission? Blast those space rocks to smithereens. But here's the catch. Every time you destroyed an asteroid, it broke into smaller, faster asteroids. It was a never-ending cycle of destruction, a test of your reflexes and your ability to think ahead. And let's not forget the UFOs. These mysterious spacecraft would appear out of nowhere, firing lasers and wreaking havoc. Asteroids was a game of constant vigilance, of anticipating threats and reacting in a split second. It was a true arcade classic that kept players coming back for more, even if it meant losing all their quarters in the process. Chapter 10, Number 16, Donkey Kong, Jumpman, Barrels, and the Birth of a Legend. Get ready to climb the ladder of gaming history because at number 16, it's Donkey Kong. This 1981 classic wasn't just a game, it was the birth of a legend. It was our first introduction to a plucky plumber named Jumpman, who would later become the one and only Mario, and his quest to rescue his beloved Pauline from the clutches of a giant ape named Donkey Kong. The gameplay was revolutionary for its time. Donkey Kong was one of the first platformers, challenging players to navigate a series of platforms, avoid obstacles, and outsmart their opponents. And those barrels. Donkey Kong's weapon of choice became a true icon of gaming, but what really made Donkey Kong special was its charm. The colorful graphics, the catchy music, and the simple yet engaging story made it an instant classic. It was a game that captured the imagination, a game that sparked a love for video games in countless players around the world.